Hey there, thank you for joining me for today's practice. My name is Paula. So today's sequence is really great for just getting things kind of moving. Like if you're feeling really bloated, this would be a great practice. But it's not good to do right after eating. So you want to have a little bit of space, like at least 2 hours or something, because it will do a little bit of work through the abdomen and, stimulate the lower back. And so yeah, we're going to be lying on our tummy for a bit, so you don't want to do it right after eating. If you've got a bolster, that would be great. If you don't have a bolster, then don't worry about it. You can just do it all lying on your tummy, or if you had like one of those sort of soft Pilates balls, you could use that as well. So if you've got your bolster, let's bring it onto the mat, or you could also use just like some very firm cushions, a couple of firm cushions as well, or pillows. And we're going to start the practice by lying down on the bolster. We're going to bring our belly, just kind of thinking about the pelvis and then the middle part of the belly, kind of coming down onto the bolster. And just take your own time just to lie down onto the bolster. Try to let the legs relax. And then if you feel okay, then we are going to lie all the way down with the forehead down onto the hands. So you can have one's hand stacked on top of the other. And then just find your breath. And then just starting to, check in with just how you're feeling, how your body's feeling. And just with that pressure that's into the belly, just noticing if you can try to soften with each exhale. So we're releasing the weight of the body, and particularly the lower back and the legs and the abdomen, down into the bolster or the cushions. And if it feels comfortable to close down the eyes, you could close your eyes. And if it gets too much to have all your weight down in your belly, you might come up on your forearms just to release some of that heaviness. If it's possible, we'll just stay here for another couple of moments. Trying to surrender the weight of that center part of the body. Just the belly, the lower back, and the hips. And then lifting the head off the hands, come up onto the forearms. And so we're just taking a bit more weight into those hands, and then starting to take a little bit of a rock over to the right hip. That left leg might lift off a little bit, and then rolling across the belly over to the left hip, maybe lifting off that right leg a little bit. And then just continue here, just massaging across the abdomen. Staying connected to the breathing. And then we might increase the rock a little bit. You might just bring that right hand a little bit closer towards you, so you can roll over a little bit more over into that left hip bone. And then rolling across the belly, take the right forearm down, bring the left hand a little bit closer so you can roll up a little bit higher onto the right hip bone, rolling across the belly. Right hand a bit closer in as you roll over to the left hip bone. Left hand, closer in as you roll over onto the right hip bone. Just go a couple more times. Just take your own time. So feel free to go a little bit slower or a little bit faster. Just finish off your last one. Come back to the center. And then bring the hands in a little bit closer towards you. And if you can, start to lift up into this very supported cobra. And we're trying to allow the glutes to be pretty relaxed here. So we don't want to be gripping onto the glutes here. If we can, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Let's take 3 more full breaths. If it feels too strong for you, then feel free to come back down, and you can just go right and lie down on your tummy, because that's where we're going to head in a moment. And then releasing this, come down to the forearms and just bring the knees up a little bit so you can shift the bolster out of the way now. So pop the bolster out of the way, and then let's all lie down onto the mat, stacking one hand on top of the other, elbows out to the side, resting the forehead down onto the hands. So feet are hip distance apart. Try to relax the legs. And we're going to take a little rock from side to side with the hips now, but a little bit faster, a little bit looser than what we were doing on the bolster. So we're really trying to just allow momentum to take us a little bit here. So trying to be quite loose. Let the legs be really relaxed. Just a few more, side to side. And then letting that settle back into stillness. Bending the knees up, so feet and knees hip distance apart, and we're going to take some windscreen wipes with the legs. Legs go over to the right, come back to center, and then legs over to the left. Center, over to the right, center, legs over to the left. And we'll go again, just a couple more times. Legs to the right, center, legs to the left. And we'll go one more time, right and left. Right, center, and left, and center. And then let's release the legs down, bring them back to hip distance apart. Come up onto the forearms. And then let's bring this right leg up so you're coming into your half frog here. So that right knee in line with that right hip just as much as you can. It might be a little bit further down. And you're either going to stay up on your forearms, or you could lie down. If you want to take this as a much more, just a little bit more of a restful, restorative posture, just bring the head down. Otherwise, you can stay up on the forearms. And then one more option here is that you can bend into this left leg, reach back and hold the inner edge of that left foot. And we're going to kick back with that left leg and turn the shoulders slightly to the right, looking over that right shoulder. Just keep breathing. Taking one more inhale here. We're going to keep holding onto the foot just for the last breath here. If you want to try to bring the foot in a little bit closer towards the glutes, then feel free to just go for that for a moment. Keep breathing. And then let's just release the leg. Bring that right hand down. If you're down onto the mat, then bring the head back up onto your forearms. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself back into your child's pose. If you can, knees and feet just about hip distance apart, but if you need to open your knees out, then feel free to do that. Forehead coming down towards the mat, extending the arms forward, take an inhale. As you exhale, seek through the spine to come into your cat position, and then unfurling into a soft version of up facing dog. So knees are down, looking forward, bend the elbows, come all the way down. And then take an inhale, come up back into that soft up dog, back through the knees and back into your child's pose. Just one more time. Inhale, exhale, seek through the spine, unfurling, tips of the shoulders back, bend the elbows, come all the way down, and then inhaling, reverse, coming up, pressing back into your child's pose, and then coming forward back onto your belly. Coming onto the forearms, and then bringing that left leg up into that your half frog on the left side. And just taking a moment, just checking in. One side might feel really different to the other, or maybe it feels the same. And just Seeing what feels right for you on this side, maybe coming down onto the mat so you might rest down, or staying on your forearms and holding here. If it feels available, you want to bend that right foot in towards you, taking your bind, holding the inner edge of that right foot, kicking back, so turning the shoulders to the left. Keep pressing down through that right forearm. Keep breathing, looking over towards the left. And then just for the last few moments here, maybe bringing that left foot in a little bit closer towards you. Keep breathing. And then gently release that back foot, bringing both arms back into your Sphinx position here. Release the tops of feet down, hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself back into your child's pose. We'll just hold here for a couple of breaths. Tailbone reaching down. Come into your tabletop position so you can tuck the toes under and press back into down facing dog. Finding your down facing dog. Let the eyes be steady. We're just going to hold it here and focus on our breathing. So thinking about your ujjayi breath. Deep breath in through the nose. You're breathing into the sides of the ribs, the backs of the ribs. And then as you exhale, drawing both sides of the waist in, drawing the navel in, lifting the hips up. And just continue. As you inhale, thinking about breathing out into the sides of the ribs, the backs of the ribs. And then as you exhale, drawing the navel and the sides of the waist in, pressing down through the palms of the hands. Just one more time like that. And then looking forward towards the hands, come down to the knees and then sitting over to the side. And we're going to open the legs out into our Upavishta Konasana here. Pressing down through the backs of the legs. Feel free to keep the legs narrower, doesn't have to be too wide. So use the hands behind you for a moment to be right up on the sitting bones as much as you can. You can always sit up on a blanket or a cushion here if you need to. Taking an inhale. As you exhale, let's take a twist to the right. You can take that left hand to the outside of the leg or just keep it on the inside, looking over the right shoulder. And then inhale through center, exhaling to the left. Inhale through center, exhaling to the right. Inhale through center, exhaling to the left. Inhale back to center. As you exhale, let's come over into our side bend and hold it here. Relaxing that right shoulder away from the ear. Keep pressing down through that left sitting bone. And we're thinking about trying to lengthen out through both sides of the waist. And then taking an inhale, coming back through center, slide that left hand down, right arm comes up and over. Grounding down through the right sitting bone now, eyes either looking up towards the ceiling if that's okay in your neck, or you can always just look forward as well. Thinking about that ujjayi breathing. And then let's take an inhale, coming back up to center. And then as you exhale, starting to come forward just to where you can. You might stay upright, keep pressing down through the backs of the legs. Continuing to stay with that ujjayi breath. Aiming to keep the toes and the knees pointing up towards the ceiling. And then walking the hands back up if you were done. Using the hands, bringing the legs in. And then lying down on the back. Bringing the right knee in towards the chest, extend that left leg away. And then you want to just try to clear the ribs a little bit, trying to bring that right knee in towards that right armpit. Elbows soften in towards the sides of the body. Take an inhale. As you exhale, squeezing that knee in just as much as you can in towards that right armpit. Keep that left leg down. If you're struggling to keep the leg down, you might need to flex that left foot. Feeling really free to stay here. If anyone would like to just try to straighten this right leg just for a breath here, taking an inhale, exhale, squeezing it in, and then releasing it down. And let's swap it around. Bring that left leg in, trying to clear the side of that left rib cage, taking an inhale, and then exhale, squeezing that left knee in. Back of the right leg stays down on the mat. Just last couple of breaths here. And then if you would like to, straightening into this left leg, taking an inhale and then exhale, releasing it down, one last squeeze and release that left leg long. Bring both legs up together if you can. Crossing the arms, taking hold of the forearms or the elbows, squeezing the knees in together, feet side by side, trying to press the back of the pelvis back down. If this feels like it's just not available, you could always just hold your knees, hold your shin bones and squeeze it in, keeping the legs separated. Take one more full breath, inhale, stay for the exhale, squeeze it in a little bit more. And then let's release that down, releasing the legs all the way long, letting the feet fall away from one another, arms away from the body, palms facing up. Allowing the eyes to close down. Surrendering the weight of the body. Coming to rest for the next few minutes. Please feel free to stay resting here if you'd like to. If you're ready to start moving, let's take the arms up above the head. So reaching out through the fingertips, reaching out through the toes. Take a really big inhale, reach, stretching it out as much as you can. And then as you exhale, let everything soften. Bending the legs up, rolling over onto the right hand side, resting the head on the underneath arm and taking a few breaths here. And then starting to make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Just resting the hands down onto the legs. Keeping the eyes closed. Feeling the sitting bones grounding down to the mat. And picturing the length of the entire spinal column. Allowing the face to be soft and the shoulders soft. Bringing the hands into your prayer position in front of the chest and bowing the head down towards your hands. Thank you so much for taking the time to practice today. Namaste.